So really early today we got a new teaser for the DMC anime and oh my god, it looks so amazing. And at this point I have watched this trailer so many times. So today what we're gonna do is we're going to delve deep and dissect this trailer and find some juicy details or Easter eggs that you may not have spotted. So with that being said, let's get into it. So at the beginning here, we get a nice shot of what I'm assuming is Redgrave City. There isn't exactly much hidden details here, but I just wanted to point this out because it looks really nice. Then we get an insanely awesome shot of Dante, and after this shot is where we get our first pretty big detail. Near the beginning here of the trailer, you can see Dante riding a bike. But what you may not have noticed is that there's a figure standing on top of a building watching Dante ride the bike. And now I'm pretty sure now that we've all seen how that figure looks like, I think we can take a pretty wild guess that that will be Lady. But it's a pretty interesting design she has. It's a black outfit instead of a white one, but I dig it. Looks like Dante's nabbing her bike again. But I'm really wondering how Lady's gonna play into this, because from what I talked in a couple of my previous videos and some details we're gonna go over later, this seems to be set before Devil May Cry 3, and Dante and Lady met during 3. Obviously they could just do their own thing and introduce Lady to Dante earlier, but still. And during this same shot you can tell that some action just went down, judging by the destroyed building and all the smoke. And then during this same bike chase you can see that they used a bit of CGI with the animation here. But what's more important is that you can see some demons that Dante is chasing on the bike. And if you zoom in closely, they look quite familiar. If you played DMC3, you know what I'm talking about. Agni and Rudra. So it looks like Dante is going to face off against them here. And I guess this could also explain why Lady is here, since Agni and Rudra were also introduced in 3. So they are taking a couple of creative liberties here, which I am completely fine with. You'll see some more familiar faces in a bit. Next up we see some soldier dudes that have Dante surrounded, and I could only wonder what this place could be. But I don't think this is Dante's shop. We'll be talking about that in the next shot. But they also seem to be pretty high up, so they might be in some apartment building or a rundown arcade, judging by the arcade machines. There's also a notice board here, but I cannot make out a thing it says. And then there's also some dead dude on the ground, which is kind of funny. Then if you pay attention to the rebellion here, you can see that the mouth on the skull is closed, meaning that the sword isn't awakened. So just another nod to show that this is pre-DMC3. The soldiers open fire and then we transition into a different scene. And this is what I think Dante's shop is. The sofas, the jukebox, the pool table kind of give it away. And one thing to point out here, while Dante is dodging the bullets, he's also not wearing his coat, which I thought is just pretty interesting. Then we transition back to the apartment, or what I think is an apartment anyway. And I just wanted to point this out because I find it pretty funny that Dante is just styling on these dudes here while Trickster dashing, like how they put in an extra few frames for him to do a spin. Now I just want to say I have no idea how Dante managed to end up blowing up a plane, but it's cool nevertheless. But I do want to point out that he seems to be traveling to the USA according to the words on the plane. Now this part is just awesome. He's shooting down a hole with his guns to get underground. I love it. Now here Dante is in an alleyway probably killing a demon, but if you look behind him there's another one standing there, and it looks to be holding a spear as a weapon. Then we see Dante open a pizza box with a gun inside. Now you may be thinking, that doesn't look like ebony or ivory. And yeah, you would be correct. Dante seems to be using just some normal pistol. Well, normal. He literally used them to shoot that hole in the ground earlier. But you know what I mean. Those are not ebony and ivory. Now, I'm not a gun expert, so I couldn't tell you what kind of guns these are. I know they're a pistol, but that's about it. Then a couple of things to note about this shot. First of all, Dante's shirt tattered. So he was probably just in a big fight or something. This still looks like the apartment from earlier. But now there's another dead person on the ground and another person standing behind Dante. I could not tell you who that is. We also hear Dante talking to a woman, again not sure who it might be, which is also where we get to hear Dante's voice.
What kind of work do you do exactly?
Demon hunting.
And you may be thinking, wait a minute, that's not Ruben Langdon. And you would be correct, because that is Johnny Young Bosch, who is the voice actor of Nero in the games. And me personally, I like it. It's definitely gonna be weird hearing Nero's voice come out of Dante's mouth. It's gonna take a bit of getting used to, but I'm fine with it. And I find it kinda nice because Johnny Young Bosch did actually audition for Dante for Devil May Cry 3, but didn't end up getting the role. So it's nice to see him do Dante now. Johnny Young Bosch did tweet saying that there is a reason why he was picked to play Dante, so we're gonna have to wait and see. My best guess is that they needed a voice for a younger Dante. I've seen some people say that they think it's because it's Nero posing as Dante because Dante is in hell after the events of 5, but I just think that's ridiculous. Then we get this sick looking demon, right? And I've seen some people on Twitter and Reddit say that this might be Arkham, and I guess I kind of see the resemblance, but I don't know. He still looks really sick though. Then we get a shot of a portal opening, I'm presuming to the demon world. We get this guy who you might recognize from Devil May Cry 1. He is the plasma enemy that you face off in that game. And he makes an appearance here. And then the next shot is the one we've seen almost a year ago now, Jesus Christ, of Dante doing the flip. But this time you can actually see the plasma attacking him. And then this is a fun little detail when Dante shoots his gun and the word jackpot is engraved onto the bullet. Then we get a shot of another familiar face. This time it's Echidna from Devil May Cry 4. We also see Dante doing some wall running, a reference to Devil May Cry 2 and 3. And you can also see that his shirt is now completely gone. He lands a devastating punch to this dude's face. And then this next shot I really want to talk about because I think it's a reference to the old Devil May Cry anime. If you remember from the old anime, Dante used to go to this restaurant called Freddy, which is also what I'm 80% sure says on that neon logo. Dante would go to that restaurant to eat strawberry sundaes. And I think that the person that Dante is saving here is Cindy, the waitress from that restaurant. Here Dante is reflecting some projectiles with a move very reminiscent to Prop Shredder. And here pay attention to Dante's shirt. Here he's wearing a blue one, before he wore a grey one. This one is a lot more reminiscent to the one he wore in Devil May Cry 5. Here he's seen fighting another demon, and now pay attention to his eyes. They're red. At this point, he wouldn't have access to Devil Trigger. So it looks like Dante is getting some cool pre-Devil Trigger power-up, which is awesome. And then we see this guy, and you might be wondering, who the hell are you? And this is the White Rabbit, who is a demon featured in the Devil May Cry 3 manga. So it's gonna be really awesome to see him here. But alright, this was my breakdown of the Devil May Cry anime teaser. The show comes out in April 2025. I'm so excited. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.